Hello, guys. Welcome back to Heather Whatever. Obviously, this is not Heather. This is her wonderful husband, Nick. And Gordy is still in the house.
Yep.
Today, Heather is out of town. She left us, and she is having a girls' trip. And she is going to be with her best friend, Katie. So we are going to try and do this podcast with just us. And before we get started, I want to say that this podcast is brought to you by heatherpresley.com. And I believe we still have the sales that, well, she didn't say, but I think we still have the sales 2023, right?
Promo code 2023.
And I think it's, what is it, 20, what is it? Do you know? What percent?
I think it's 30.
It says that she just sent me something that said it's an automatic code, so it's 65% off.
Okay.
100 collections, minimum purchase 125. I think that's for free shipping. So
there you go.
That should be good.
Yeah, and they're taking a girls trip to who takes a girls trip to Idaho?
To Idaho, which is they're gonna go there and be. Never mind. I'm not gonna say
but
that.
I mean, I don't understand when she said she's like, we're going to be in Idaho, and I was like, what are you moving there? Because like every white person in California moves there.
I know. I saw you say that. Idaho is her. She has a really good friend, Katie, who we were supposed to have her on the show.
We talked about her before. Yeah.
Yeah, Katie's like her. They used to run together, and they were like twins. They both have green eyes, dark hair, and everybody used to say they were like twins. So they're like best friends. But anyways, she moved to Idaho from L.A., met a guy, had a kid, and, you know, Heather hadn't seen the kid yet, so after tax season, she wanted to go. So she's out there visiting them right now. She hasn't seen her in a long time, so she's really excited about it.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense, I guess. I'm like,
yeah.
What are they going to go, like, club up in Boise?
Oh, no, they're going
like,
to party.
Really?
Yeah. They got a girls' night out, which is what Heather says. It's a girls' night out, and supposedly it goes from like 2 to 5 in the afternoon. But
day drinking, yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, it's an all pink party, so it's they're wearing all pink, and they will be
in Idaho.
In Idaho,
it's fucking weird.
Which is fucking crazy if you think about it. I don't know.
I've been to Idaho a bunch of times, like fine place, but it's not.
I've never been there.
Fucking party. I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna. Actually, I had friends that were like dairy farmers back in the day before Boise really blew up, and they had dairy farms out there. Yeah. I'm like, I got shit house in a couple small towns outside of Boise. That's different. It's a different story though. It wasn't like
I've never been there. Is it a lot different?
It's a lot different now. It's like
really?
It grew because every white person in California moved to Idaho, and like just blew up like 7-Up. Like it's huge now. Yeah. So it's not as like quaint as it used to be.
That's kind of everywhere though. You know, Tennessee, Texas. I have more out-of-state tax returns I do now because of people moving out of California.
Yeah.
And Idaho's one of the biggest ones. That one in Tennessee are the biggest ones. Speaking of tax season, it's now over.
It's over. That's why we're so hit and miss.
Oh man, it's been a crazy year. You know, they did the automatic extension, so we're really not done.
Yeah.
Until
that
October
kind of messes
60th.
Your game up because they did extensions because all the flooding we had in California, right? It was like
I don't
emergencies.
think that's what they say it was for. Obviously, there was no flooding here, but I think it was because there's this form that the IRS had to approve and it had to get updated, and it never got updated.
Oh.
And so I think it made people push it back. It did for us. We had to file like 100 tax returns at the end there. But I think it was maybe because of that and maybe the flooding. I don't know, but it's a pain in the ass because usually what we do is we do all of our tax returns, and then we file all our extensions so we know exactly what we have to do the rest of the year. To whereas now it's like, dude, we don't know who's going to show up. We don't know when they're going to show up. It got extended to October 16th. So what will probably happen is you're going to get about 350 calls October 1st.
No shit.
And then it's just, just going to suck. So we have a ton of tax returns we have to do still. So,
but that's good because I guess it kind of extends your revenue through the entire year.
Yeah, it is kind of nice.
So you got a little extra coin coming on the side.
Yep.
But yeah,
it's always good.
Nick took care of me again. That's all that's important.
Yeah.
Did his thing like a savant, man.
Yeah.
Sits in front of that computer and just next thing I know, boom.
Yeah. Do you ever like trip out that we talk about some of the stuff that we talk about and I'm the one who does your taxes?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Well, and then we were in the office when you were doing mine and someone walked in. And like we were talking, and then they said, "Oh, they love the podcast."
Oh yeah.
And then they're like, "By the way, this is Gordy." And it was like they were stunned.
They were tripping out.
They were tripping out. That was just happened to be in the office. Like,
yeah, I can't tell you how many people come into our office. Sometimes it worries me. I didn't tell you about this. I actually had my first client come in that they love me, and they're really good clients of mine. So I'll be honest with you, throughout the time that we've been doing this, I always thought to myself, I really hope they don't hear it. Right. And anyways, they came in, and they came in late, so I was worried. I was like, man, maybe they heard it. Maybe they're not going to come back.
They're like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Fucking weirdo.
And anyways, they came in and just they didn't say anything about it. And then right at the very end of the appointment, they like came up and hugged me, and they're like, yeah, we heard the podcast. And I was like, oh shit. And they're like, and he's like, yeah, we love it. You know, it's funny. And then the wife says, you know, it was a little uncomfortable. You were talking about having sex with your wife. And I was like, that's all you heard?
Right here in the office.
Yeah.
That's all I was thinking about when I was sitting in that chair.
I know.
I was like,
she was sitting in that chair.
God damn it.
She was sitting in that chair. That's awesome.
I knew it. I was like, what greasy spot in this office?
I wish, if you could just picture it. Picture her sitting there where you're sitting, okay, and she's looking up at me. And I'm just like, you know, the old man, they're like this. That's what I look like, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Gordy's sick, by the way.
I'm sick, sorry, but I answered the bell, boy. My kids have had this for like 2 weeks, and I was able to avoid it. And I don't know, maybe I might have got sick because I went to the big the Journey concert they had here in town.
Did you?
Yeah, I might have got sick from that. Journey and Toto. So that was
someone else I was talking to after they came into my office. They were
dude, everyone in the world was like 10,000 people sold that mug out, and like,
where was it at?
It was at the big Mechanics Bank Arena.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, it was the big arena. So like, yeah, it was. I don't know. It was all right. It wasn't that first good? Of all, I didn't. Okay, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't like for what you paid for those tickets, bro. It was not the money. Like,
really? How much were they?
I think after fees, like 2 seats were like $300+ bucks,
oh,
like where we were at, because they fuck you with those fees, right?
Yeah,
like, you know, handling fees. I'm like, handling what? It's a digital ticket you send to my phone on an app. You know,
that's just those businesses marking stuff up. You know, that's the way of doing it.
So
it's just like
it was fine.
It's just like Uber Eats now. Look at Uber Eats, man. We were talking about that. I don't know about you, but I don't use Uber Eats anymore because it's fucking expensive, dude. I used to order everything into my house and it was cheap. Now it's like add $20-$30 to everything. Really? Oh my god, I haven't done Uber Eats in like a year. We were
plus the tip thing now too.
Yeah.
So I read an article where they said basically all this digital currency and pay points, they start the tip at like 20%.
Yeah, they do.
I'm a 10 to 15% tipper depending on what you're doing, right?
Especially if I've never met you, because I don't know what kind of person's coming in that car.
Yeah,
there could be some guy just throwing my food in there, not fucking, you know, not like taking his time or you know, like making it nice. He could just be some dickhead, and I'm not gonna tip some dickhead, you know, 20%.
Yeah, but they'll start like even on your digital pay things now. They'll start to tip at 20%. You got to go you have to figure that shit out.
And actually, it's not that easy. Like once you figure it out, it is. But it's not like it's right there. In the beginning, it looks like, oh, that's what I have to tip them. That's what I used to do. Yeah. Now I go back and I'm like $1. You know, well, I haven't done it in a long time.
Well, but the tip, like, and then with everything so expensive now, like 20% of a large. Yeah. Like the other day, I ordered groceries to my house, and it was like $100 and something order, and like, do you want to leave a 20% tip? Bitch, that's like $15.
Yeah.
You know, like that was a lot of money for a dude who's already getting paid to drive.
Yeah.
So like, I tipped him, but like,
and they're paying them gas and all that too. So
yeah, it was crazy.
Hey, I know some guys that are doing really good on Uber. They go to LA 4 days a week. They drive there. They sleep in their car.
Yeah.
And they do it 4 straight days: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I think, or maybe it's whatever it is. And they made over $100,000 this year.
That's what my Uber driver in Vegas said. Met the coolest cat ever. This dude's from Chicago. It got too cold in Chicago.
Wait,
and he
in
was
Vegas?
Like, and he was this old cat. He was awesome, man. He was like, I don't know. He reminded me of like Miles Davis, like
really
old
Wait,
black dude.
Oh, black dude.
Yeah, and he was cool as shit. But he was talking about he from Chicago and it got too cold, and he was told his wife, pack our shit. We're moving to Vegas. So he bought like a house that was like $500,000 then, like 4 years ago. Now it's worth like $750
in Vegas. In
Vegas, nice spot. He was like,
showing me pictures. Up that much there?
Yeah, he said he had $100K in equity before he even opened the door because it took a year to build.
Yeah.
And but my man was telling us how much he makes, and he goes, I'm retired from whatever, like a school district in Chicago.
Probably getting a pension.
Oh yeah, and he goes, but he'll clear like $100K plus a year driving Uber.
Really?
Like especially in Vegas, because it's always busy in Vegas, and the conventions are where it's at. Like it's busy on Friday and Saturday nights, but when the conventions are in town, like me, while I was there.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to park my shit once. I don't want to keep driving my shit
Put
around.
that shit in valet. I don't want to get it back out.
So,
wait, I want you to talk about that. So you went to the, which one was it?
That's the NAB show, which is like it used to be the National Association of Broadcasters. Now, like way back in the day.
So is it radio and podcasting?
It used to be radio and TV, but like as that world has changed, like I've seen it change in 20 some odd years, like being at that show off and on. Like, yeah, when I was first there, it was like radio and TV when I was in college because that was the thing. But now with so much consumer media and like everybody's a content creator, now it's all about like content creation. It's about green screens, lighting, cameras, some podcasting, video podcasting. Like it's a lot of it. It's not centered around the studios anymore. It's centered around like content creators. And there's still a lot of stuff for like radio and television, but since anybody can do that.
How do you think that is now? Do you think radio it's taken a big step back, huh?
It has. I think there's still areas where it's competitive and it's important, but I think podcasting
like for instance,
has changed that.
Howard Stern. That's probably still big, right?
I think a little bit. I mean, he's on satellite exclusively, though. Yeah. He's not like nationally syndicated anymore. He's on satellite exclusively, and you got to pay extra for his show on satellite. I never did.
Yeah.
I never thought he was that great, so I didn't buy his show. But podcasting has pretty much like, I think radio, I think like music radio is still relevant in a lot of spots, but like talk radio, it's different, man. Like because of podcasts, like you can't tune into regular talk radio on the AM or FM and listen to people talking about dumb shit like we are.
Yeah.
Like, and saying the word shit on the air. Like you can't do that anymore on radio, but like podcasting, you can do that. So it's changed that game quite a bit. And then even the video side, like so much is around just content creators and being able to do home studios and that kind of stuff. Like it's wild.
Yeah. I've seen some of the home studios that people are doing, like how they do their backdrops with the lighting.
Yeah.
I always thought it'd be cool to do that. You know, it'd be cool is if we did it at our house with like on like the couches, you know, and like set up a studio like that. You guys
need to move this shit to your house.
I know. That's
We're
what
in the warehouse of the Heather Presley.
Yeah, it's just hard because we got 3 kids, so you know, you never know.
Tell them they touch it, they die.
I know.
Don't ever touch it.
Yeah.
Like you could put this stuff in a cabinet. You can keep the mics out, but put this shit in a cabinet so they can't mess with it. Like,
yeah. Because then we could do it whenever we want.
Right.
We could do it on a Thursday night if we wanted to.
Yeah, you just roll out of the rack and like hit record. So yeah, it's pretty nuts though. It was like, dude, 3 freaking convention halls full of stuff. Like it was intense, man. It's a lot of stuff happening.
Did you learn a lot?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, a lot of it was mostly just seeing the new trends and like the crazy part that we've talked about in the past, man, the AI part, right? So you want to talk about radio?
Seeing that. Ever since we talked about that, I've been seeing that all over.
You want to talk about radio? There are people there, and it's a very small segment. And I'm telling you, in the next couple of years, this segment's going to grow. There are services that will basically program a radio station with AI, so you don't need a DJ anymore.
They do everything?
The robot is the voice.
That's crazy.
A lot of stations
and they can make it sound however they want, huh?
Yeah, and a lot of stations do what they call voice tracking now anyway, where one jock sits in a box in like Charlotte and he does national radio. So he sounds like he's local, but he's in Charlotte, North Carolina, broadcasting in Las Vegas. But now the freaking robot will do it. And they'll sound like a person, and you program it, and it's nuts.
And it can communicate back and forth with people?
I don't know about that part, but I know it can at least voice track.
It can at least do a show.
It can at least, like, you know, play in and out of Steely Dan or whatever.
That's scary, man.
Isn't it nuts? It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's going to be coming, I'm sure, you know, in the future. So, anyway, that was pretty cool to see. I think there was a lot of crap.
I saw some of those tables that I wish we could. I want to do that, man. I want to get back into I missed it. I miss podcasting, dude.
Yeah.
Even if it's not huge or anything, it's still fun to do, man. I mean, it's, you know, something else you get to do with your life. So
yeah, it was a bummer too because we were on a great trajectory upward,
I know.
And then we had to stop just because life, man, it's tough.
I know.
I mean, it really, unless you got a full-time time doing it.
Yeah, that's why you see these people that do it full time that are, you know, the Call Her Daddy chick.
Yeah.
Have you seen? Do you know who she is?
Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't know her name, but dude, that chick is making like hundreds of millions.
She's got a giant Spotify deal, right? Was it Spotify?
Yeah. And she did the Barstool one.
Right.
She got a huge one with that one. And man, I want to know how you get to that. How do you make money like that? You just have to just get more and more people following it.
More and more people, more content, more downloads. We were on our way, and then tax season hit, and it was like,
I know.
It's all right though.
That's the thing that I've noticed. Which I will say this: last year we were really consistent. And we did really good. We never missed a show. And then tax season, it was like, damn. And people, I didn't think it would take that big of a hit, but people like consistency,
Yeah.
you know? We were getting texts all the time like, hey, how come you don't have an episode out? You know, we're waiting for it today. And I think once you do that once and then twice and 3 times, people are like, well, maybe they're not taking it as serious anymore, you know?
We're back to 2 a week now. So we'll get it figured out. But life happens. It's tough. It's tough to get it rolling.
So other big news that you just told me that I did not know is Jerry Springer died.
Yeah, I'm shocked you didn't hear that.
That's crazy, man. I grew up loving that dude.
Yeah.
And the crazy, I still remember the show remember the one where the guy came out and he was like the guy's friend and he was in love with him. Do you remember this one? He was well, it probably happened a lot, but he was in love with this guy. The guy was shocked. The guy actually went and killed him. For embarrassing him like that on TV.
Yeah.
That shit was real.
Yeah.
I always thought that's what I always wondered. I wondered like what percentage of that stuff was fake? Because I know a lot of it was fake.
Yeah, yeah.
But obviously some of it wasn't because that shit. He really killed that dude.
That's
so
right. Yeah.
maybe he just did it because he was mad that it. I don't know. I don't get that.
I always loved that show because like it was the wildest shit, right? And of course the dudes are fighting, and everyone's chanting Jerry, and Steve comes in.
Yeah.
Steve then built his own show after that, Legacy.
He's still doing it, I think.
But then at the end, like Jerry would sit down for his monologue and always ended like, be nice to yourself and each other. You're like, dude, you literally have people throwing blows. Ago,
they're like, take it off, talking about their shirts, the chicks. Could you imagine if that show was happening right now? Oh my God, it would be crazy. They would never allow that shit.
Best story ever. So that guy, he's got such a crazy story, and he was a politician. He was the mayor of Cincinnati, and then
Jerry Springer was.
Yeah, and then he got popped because he wrote a hooker a check.
Oh yeah,
in like the 80s,
yeah.
He literally wrote a check to
dude.
a hooker, and like this is before debit cards and Venmo and PayPal and all that nonsense. And like I guess he didn't have cash on him, and he wrote her a check, and she like took that to the bank literally. And got his ass popped for prostitution.
The worst part of that story is that prostitutes were taking checks back in the days.
Right?
Because think about it, like, remember when we were younger and our parents would go to the grocery store and they'd pull out that check and they'd fucking write it out. They'd put it through that, like, thing.
The check thing.
But you didn't know if that... That's the thing is you could have given them that check and it could have bounced.
Yeah.
And you would never know and nothing would ever happen because of it. Like, yeah, they would probably do something to your account, but it wasn't like you'd get away with that. So that means these prostitutes were like, are you good for this check?
Right.
Don't lie to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to see you next time. That guy's like, here's $50. I'll fucking go to the next hooker next time.
I think he wrote like a big check. It was like, she was a high class host. So it was like $1,500 or something. Like this wasn't a cheap one. So that's why he didn't have the cash on hand because he didn't go to the bank because this is probably pre-ATM
He had to have it though.
days.
He had to have it.
Right. It was that time. Yeah. So he like wrote a check and she's like, all right, we're good for it. And at that point, he wrote a check, signed his name on it. It was like, dude.
Oh my God.
So that was the end of his political career, which then launched him.
Is that what ended it?
Yeah, that was the end of his political career.
Oh, so that's why they built him into this character that ended up having that show because he was a perfect candidate
dude
for
that show. So yeah, no, that like time used to stop at like 3:00 in the afternoon, like come back from school.
Oh yeah,
and that nonsense was on, dude. That was the best ever.
Those ones, and then the you are not the father.
So he forced Maury Povich into that role because Maury used to be a regular like Sally Jesse Raphael talk show.
Yeah, he was
Oprah. And then like he had to catch that wave of nonsense, and so it's like, well, I'll just do paternity tests on my show constantly.
Yeah,
and that he kind of got dumbed down into that sort of mentality.
Yeah, but it was a hit.
It was.
Some of those reactions. You think all those reactions were real? I feel like those were real people.
I don't know. It could be. I think so.
What about those chicks that would bring like 5 different guys on there? Be like, I know it's this one.
Or the ones
I
didn't sleep with anybody. I never slept with nobody else but him only. And they're like, yeah, you lying.
You're not the father. And he's like, I told you. I fucking told you. And she's like, what?
Yeah.
And then it always comes out, well, I did fuck.
Yeah, just one time though, and they're like, "Well,
but we wore a condom." It's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah,
you didn't wear no damn condom.
Yeah, no, he forced him to dumb it down a bit. So, no, that was my buddy texted me randomly because when we lived together briefly for like a summer, we used to watch that shit constantly. So he sent me a text, dude, Jerry Springer died. Like he was bummed.
That's crazy. I didn't hear about it. Do you know how he died?
I think he was like 79 years old. I think he stroke or something like that. He was just old. So
it's not that old, 79's still pretty young. I mean, he was probably unhealthy and probably lived a crazy life. You know that if that dude was giving prostitutes checks, he was probably doing blow off their buttholes, dude.
Probably.
You know what I mean? I'm sure he had a lot of blow going on back in the day. It's so crazy to see like how the 80s you know, the 90s, 80s, whatever it is, like, it's so crazy to see how much different. And until we start talking about this, I didn't even think about it, but it's so crazy, like how the stuff that we talked about on TV and the stuff that was on air, all the time is stuff that now look at the difference between the talk shows now. You wouldn't dare.
Even the movies.
Oh my God, even the movies.
Even the movies.
It's like everybody makes it a point to put in
a gay couple.
Right. Always. There's always a gay couple or a transgender or race. It has to be a wide variety of all the race. It's just you don't see. And I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying back in the days, a black person played a racial, like kind of a racist figure.
MASH called the guy Spear Chucker.
Yeah.
Right? MASH was a gigantic hit, and the black guy was Spear Chucker Jones. I mean, that is not going to fly on television today.
Way.
I mean, Sanford and Son dropped the N-bomb constantly on network television.
Yeah.
But even aside from that, like just
which
even
I'm not
the movies,
saying it was right to do that.
Right.
It's just so crazy.
But people were not offended by it, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe because we didn't think it was wrong back then.
Yeah.
But like not just that, but even the movies. So I saw this thing the other day. It was remember Revenge of the Nerds?
Oh my God,
right?
I love that movie.
Great movie, right?
Yeah.
Now you think about it, they kind of broke it down to today's standards. Like, okay, let's see what this fraternity does. They illegally spy on girls with cameras.
Yeah.
They're voyeurs. And at the end, the main character rapes the lady in the jump house, and she falls in love with him instead of filing charges.
That's
fucking
crazy.
Creep. Like, you know, and back then we didn't think it was innocent. We thought it was a great into a love story. When you're like, oh my God, he full on raped that woman.
Yep.
Oh my God. So that kind of stuff, like, we was wild.
You just don't see that stuff anymore.
I was thinking about this the other day. I was actually, for some reason, I'm thinking at the concert because when I was at that Journey show, because it was an old people show, and I love old people shows. Here's the deal, because like they play the hits early because they know it's getting late, and they're like, hey, we're gonna get "Don't Stop Believing" out like song number 3, so that way y'all can leave if you don't want to stay up till 10 o'clock.
Did they really?
Oh yeah, it was a total old people show. And
did people leave afterwards?
There were some that left like before the end, because they're like, we got to get a beat on traffic type of shit, you know, because it's an old folk show.
Yeah.
And, you know, they knew their audience. And so anyway, but I was thinking to myself, and I was, you know, I said, you know what? I'm starting to talk about the 90s like my parents talked about the 60s and 70s.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Right? Is anyone else with me on this? Like, have you started to think about the 90s, about how your parents used to brag about the 60s and then kind of like the early 70s?
Yeah.
Like, that's me now.
And the way they talked about how crazy everything's become and how we're all like these different, they can't understand the music we listen to or the things we do or the things we watch that we enjoy. And then they would talk about the good old days, which is, I feel like now what we're doing, you know?
Yeah. Who would have ever thought the 90s were the good old days?
Yeah.
Like, now
they were good, though.
Now when you look at it, you're like, the 90s
they were
fucking
good.
rocked.
They did.
You know, like, we started with, like, I was thinking about this the other day. You just use, like, Woodstock as an example. We had Woodstock in 94, which was a big recovery from the 69 Woodstock. And, like, it was an okay show. And then, like, Woodstock 99 was a fucking riot, and they burned the place down. And I'm like, that's the 90s in a nutshell. Came in nice and quietly and just left with a bang.
You're like, we're hitting the 2000s with the bang.
Yes, exactly. We're throwing everything out the window. Like,
it's so crazy how when you get older, you do start to think like that. Even just little things like, you know, our parents saying, be careful who you hang out with. You know, there's bad influences out there. When I was younger and at the time, I thought, I don't think anybody can influence me to do anything. Yeah. But now I'm like, I see the kids, these other kids, you know, my kids are hanging out with them. I'm like, I don't want you hanging out with that kid. Like, that kid's, you know, something's going on there. So I get it. You start to notice those things that you don't notice when you're young, man. But
I told my son in kindergarten the other day, I packed his lunch, and like the kid likes, like, just we'll slice up cucumbers. The kid will eat cucumbers. He's fucking weird like
that's
that.
Blake. That's Blake too.
So we did that. And then like he comes home and he eats his cucumbers. I was like, what's up, dude? You didn't eat your cucumbers in lunch? He's like, yeah, well, I'm in this club with this kid, and I can't be in their club if I eat green things. I said, what? He goes, yeah, we got this club at lunchtime, and like, you can't eat green things in the club. I said,
what?
I was like, you know what, dude?
Fuck this kid
I said,
up.
don't hang out with those kids. Those kids are stupid.
Yeah.
I, like, literally just told him to his face, those kids are dumb. Don't hang out with those kids. And my wife's like, don't say that. I said, no.
You got to break it to him like that,
dumb.
though.
Yeah,
hey,
don't eat green things.
Do you cut the, please tell me you cut the cucumber up, though.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't let him go.
Did we tell you the story about that one?
No.
Blake?
No.
Oh, my God. We got a call from the school, and the teacher goes, hey, I need you to come down to the school, pick up Blake. He's in trouble. We're like, oh, here we go. Because Blake's our, trouble kid. But, Anyways, principal proceeds to tell us that he was at lunch and there was a little girl there eating a cucumber.
I can see where this is going real fast. And the parents just threw it in the lunch bag raw.
Didn't slice it up, buddy. Come on, man. Don't do your daughter like that. Oh, no. And so she was just eating a fucking cucumber. Well, my son.
She making eye contact.
So my son at 9 years old is in front of his friends and he goes, "It looks like she's sucking a dick."
Just straight up came out with that.
Up.
Damn.
9 years old, which is fucking bananas. But so my kid's the one that's the bad influence.
Sure.
But so he had to like apologize. The parents were pretty upset.
Sure.
And, like, which I get it. I'm not saying I'm laughing about it because it's just stupid. It's their kids. It's stupid shit like that happens. I don't think he fully, I don't know, he probably does, but I don't think he meant to like hurt anybody. I don't think he really understood that's the thing is back in the days, like
I would never said that at 9, dude. No shot. No shot.
So, but I don't know. He didn't hear that from us, but he's got some pretty crazy friends that are bad influence. They're nice to our face, but they're kind of bad influences. But so that was
Are they older?
Who?
The kids? Friends.
Yeah, they are.
That'll do it.
Yeah, they are. And what's funny is when you see them in person, they're so nice, and I'm like, these are good kids.
Yeah.
But I hear the stories, man. They're fucking pretty wild, dude.
Well, see, my kid's in a pre school time daycare, and it's like all the kids in the school are in there. Yeah. So he's in there with like 5th grade kids, right? And that's why he'll come back. I'll say stuff. I'm like, I'm like, oh, you got that from daycare, huh? That 5th grade kid that's in there, like, yep, because they all interact around together.
Bobby.
Yeah, they interact together before school in the daycare because I got to go to work early. Yeah, and I'm like, damn it. Whatever. I mean, this summer he's going to do a summer school like daycare program. I can't imagine what kind of wild out shit he's going to do there. Like with 5th graders and whatever, 6th graders hanging around. I don't know what's going to happen.
Kids are crazy now, man. I mean, that's another thing that we're saying now that like our parents used to say to us, the kids are nuts now. Like the stuff they're doing and the stuff they're saying and like they play, it's weird. Kids play like this, I don't know how to explain it, but like, almost like a victim role, or they like, I don't know if we've talked about this, but I feel like kids like have learned that playing a victim is a way to get attention and like kind of, they'll act gay or something like that. Like my son's friends, some of them, they act gay. They got girlfriends, but they still act gay. But sometimes I think they're doing it just to like get attention. If you say anything negative to them, then you're discriminating. It's, you're discriminating them. And so it's like, I don't know. I feel like kids are weird, man. I don't know. I don't understand them. If you think about it, we lived through a crazy time. We went from, think about it, the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and all that time. There wasn't a ton of change. There was change, but there wasn't like the kind of change there's been since we were kids.
Right.
Holy shit. From the 80s, like the late 70s, 80s to 2023. I mean, just technology alone, but just people have changed. Society has changed. Like, we saw a huge change. So, I mean, imagine like, we've talked about that, but like, my mom, man, being 78, think of what they've seen in their lifetime. They were, dude, think about how racist things were back then and like how much different life is. My mom was telling me the other day that because she bounced around a lot as a kid because my grandfather was military. And she said, I don't know what part she was in. I think when they lived in like Texas or something, deep part of Texas. I don't remember. But there were still segregated drinking fountains. And that was like late 60s, like mid 60s. Could you imagine walking into a restaurant now and they're like, that's for the black people?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That place would get burned down within 15 seconds. It wouldn't last 15 seconds, which is, it's crazy, man.
But the technology changes too, just between like I feel like I kind of was dealt a decent hand because like I got to see in my early childhood like the analog shit, right?
Yeah, I'm glad I did.
8 tracks, tapes, and then like that makes me appreciate. Yeah, I appreciate technology now because I'm like, oh, it's so much easier, dude. I don't have to have a giant record collection. I got all my music on my phone. Yeah, like I dig that and I appreciate it more. Mm-hmm. But then I was thinking about this the other day. My kid may never know what a dial tone is. I may never know what a dial tone is.
I don't even know the last time I heard one.
Right. I mean, I have a phone at work. That's the closest thing to a dial tone.
I have one in my office too.
I mean, that's it though. But if my kid ends up, but now even those are going like voice over IP phones. Yeah. And so by the time he's in the workforce, he may never even have a dial tone ever. Because everything's a cell phone. Yeah. And I'm like, he may never hear a dial tone. Like,
never even understand
what
that is. I know. I was watching a video of this family that they were trying to remember the phones that did.
Oh yeah, the rotary phones. Yeah, I had one of those. Hell yeah.
My grandparents had one, and we used to love that thing. But they played like, I don't know if it was a prank or something, but they told the kids like, hey, use this phone, you got to call so and so, and they were just putting their fingers in there. They
holes.
had no idea to like do this. I'm like, how the hell? It made me feel old, but like,
Yeah. No, that's pretty that's the kind of stuff, man, those little things, but it makes you appreciate the technology more.
And you're right. Like the technology nowadays, you figure if you're 9 years old, 7, 6, 5, whatever, 10, your idea of technology is the top of the line stuff.
Yeah.
So to them, they're looking at it like, why can't it be better than this? Why can't I have all the games? Why can't I do this? It's like, do you know what we had to do to get that shit? We couldn't just, these kids don't even have to leave their room now. They tell their parents, they'll give me a gift card. They buy the fucking thing online. It goes to their thing. Dude, back in the days, like if you wanted a Nintendo, it was Christmas or your birthday. You had to drive and stand in a line, and like it was different. And not only that, the graphics were, if you think about it, Nintendo, like we thought Super Mario was and Zelda.
Yeah.
Oh my God, those seem like the coolest. That shit, if our kids saw that now, they would, like if we went backwards and they had to go, or even if you just brought one home and said, hey, you guys want to play this? They'd be like, no, get that thing away from me.
My youngsters are into Pac-Man though, which is pretty legit. I got one of those plug and play Pac-Mans.
I made sure to get
and Frogger from, because I got a plug and play Atari.
Frogger's actually still pretty big. They just have different versions of it. You know?
But that was my first like home video console was the Atari. You know, and so we had the Frogger deal. Like my kids dig that because I got the plug and play thing now.
Yeah.
And so, they'll play that still. But
did you ever have a Game Boy?
Oh hell yeah!
Oh, those are the best.
Did you watch that Game Boy show on the one about Tetris?
No, I wanted to see it, but no, I haven't seen it.
It's pretty legit.
Was it good?
Netflix or Amazon? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I remember I got the Sega little handheld one. Do you remember that when that one came out?
I do. Yeah.
I
was never a Sega kid though.
I wasn't either, but this was the first time it came in color.
Oh, that's
and
right.
because the Game Boy was just
black and white,
or black, whatever that shit is. But yeah, this one was color. So when I was looking, I was like, "Holy shit!" It was crazy.
Yeah, no, that whole documentary or whatever it was, actually a movie on
Tetris.
Apple Video is.
Wait, who's in it? Because I saw the previews for it.
I don't remember who's in it, but the whole thing is about getting the handheld rights to Tetris from Moscow to be able to partner with Game Boy.
Wow.
And that's how Tetris blew up.
It was in a different country. Yeah, I did see
it was
that.
the rights were set up in the Soviet Union as it was collapsing. So the dude had to literally go there and like deal with the KGB to like get the rights to put it with Nintendo. It was wild.
Yeah.
So
what's crazy is if you ever watch TikTok, have you ever seen the guys that do the lives that play that? Oh my God, these guys, they get to like level, dude, I don't even know how they're able to do it. How fast it moves. It's like I'm not even sure. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know how they're doing it. And they're just going bam, bam. And you go, oh, he's going to lose right here. And he's like purposely losing so he can come back. And they're on like level 100, like as high as you can go. It's crazy.
100 plus lines. Like once you got to 100 lines, it was over, bro.
Oh, yeah.
That shit started coming in at rapid speed. And you had about a split second to make a decision.
Split second, yeah.
And if like this shit didn't fit, it was over.
Yeah.
Like so fast.
Yep.
But no, the Game Boy, like I had, let's see, dude, I had the Game Boy. Then I bought the Game Boy with the magnifier. You snap that bitch on.
Oh, yeah.
And you had the side where your screen got bigger.
Yeah,
oh, dude, that was fire. And then I had, what else did I have? All kinds of shit. The one with the light, because there was no light on that mug.
Yep.
So at night, you couldn't play it.
You couldn't play it.
But I had the light, so I could play it at night. Like,
when was that? Was that like the 90s, right?
That was late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, probably like 91, 90, 91, maybe
Look
89.
How much different. God dang, that's so crazy.
And now you get the games on your phone.
Dude, and they're good too.
Yeah.
They're like really good.
Yeah. No, but yeah, those were, dude, the Game Boy was, and I still had tons of those games. My shit's priceless somewhere.
Yeah. Did you ever have that? Remember back when cell phones kind of first started coming out, maybe like 2000 or like maybe 99? Remember those little tiny flip phones? They were like this big.
They were like not OnStar. They were called like, anyway,
it would literally go from your ear to like maybe right here, but it worked. And so everybody thought it was so cool to have a small phone. They're like, oh, they're gonna get smaller and smaller. And then now, man, literally, and like,
they suck balls though. You couldn't get a phone call. It was terrible. I had one of those. It was like a hand-me-down, and it had a little tiny flip-out earpiece or a little flip-out mouthpiece. Those were awful.
Hey, hold on one second. Beckham's calling, and he wants to be on the podcast so bad.
Oh, okay.
So hold on. I'm going to talk to him. Beckham.
Yeah?
What are you doing?
Are you home?
No, I'm podcasting right now, and you're on the show. So you said you wanted to be on here. What do you want to say What do you want to say to everybody?
Hi, Zach. Hi, Josh. Hi, Brandon.
Shout outs.
Shout outs. Okay. You want to talk about anything else?
I was going to ask if you could bring my wallet.
Oh, okay. No, I can't.
Oh. All right. Love you, Dad.
All right. Love you. Bye. He's been like telling me how bad he wants to do it.
There you go.
This kid's getting crazy. I do want to say this, though. Okay. And you obviously haven't got there yet because your kids are still young.
Still young.
But I have caught him.
Spending extra time in the bathroom?
Well, that too, but I've actually walked into his room, and I'm going to be honest with you, it feels like it's happening every day, all day.
Right. He's that age. Was he 13?
He figured it out, and now it's like that's his thing now.
Apple don't fall far from the tree.
No,
it
doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. He's been he's like now he's like starting to, we were talking to him the other day, and we're like, hey, are you, I was like, obviously you're doing this now, and he's like, yeah. This is how he answered. Yeah. And I'm like, so what are you doing? You like, are you watching stuff? Like, I can't be, I need to make sure you're not watching anything crazy. And he's like, no. I was like, are you looking at girls? He's like, no. And I was like, you looking at naked girls? He's like, no. And I go, maybe just a little bit. And he goes, yeah.
Nice.
I was like, you sick. Could you imagine if we had a phone?
Yeah.
When we were freaking 13, oh my God, that thing would have been broken.
Bro, I had two things. I had the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition.
I had
Shout out.
Playboys, yeah.
And the Fredericks of Hollywood catalog that came in the mail.
Be honest, yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah, be honest though. And that's back when they used to send them out and they were nice.
Yeah.
Now they're like lame. Now you there's like never mind, it'll get me in trouble. But I told you guys, my grandpa would give me Playboys, penthouses and stuff when I was young. So I used to look at those, and I remember I got one with Pamela Anderson in it, and it was before she got her boobs in. It was when she was still natural.
That was her first thing.
Oh my God!
Did you watch her documentary too? There was one recent that was really good. Actually,
yeah, I did. Yeah, it was. She's different now. You can tell.
I forgot she married Kid Rock.
Life's been. I know that was
totally
so weird.
Forgot she married Kid Rock.
Life's been hard on her, and she's sometimes we forget how big of a deal she was. She was but did you ever have sticky pages? Be honest.
No,
I did, dude. Pages. Yeah, I did. It's disgusting.
You're like, damn it, I like that page.
Yeah. Remember when we got into college and we started illegally downloading that porn to our? Did you do that?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Yep.
And it's like you'd get it.
And I had to work around the college firewall too, homie. But I had a couple sites got around that firewall, boy.
Yeah. But you'd get a video and it would take so long, and then sometimes it wouldn't work. But you'd get like little pieces. Parts of it, and it'd be like just 30 seconds of him just going hard on her,
or
and
scrambled channels.
Yeah,
when cable was the naughty channels were scrambled.
You know what I used to love? Please tell me you used to watch this.
Like, that's a boob.
Yeah, please tell me you watched this. Real Sex. Do you remember that show?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh dude, I would stay up late at night and I would just be waiting because Real Sex was on HBO, and Real Sex actually would show like everything.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but it was like. It wasn't like porn where it showed, but there were times where you would see everything. You'd see their pussies, everything. So I used to watch that, and when you're young like that and you see something, you're like, oh,
or the Skinamax, like the softcore Cinemax movies,
titties out.
They were the worst. They were the worst movies ever.
They were really bad.
But that's where what's her face, Shannon, Gene Simmons' wife. She was Shannon Tweed, where she got Shannon famous, Tweed. Dude. Yeah, she got famous on all those Skinamax flicks back in the day, boy.
Now it's like now
it's easy.
Now it's like Skinamax is most of the movies that are out that are rated R.
I know, right? Now it's normal.
There's no softcore porn anymore. It's just that's movies now.
You don't got to put it out late at night. You can put it out whenever on network
you want.
TV.
Yeah, on network. I was gonna say on network TV.
That's the crazy part.
Dude.
So it goes back to what we talked about. The language and things that we do on TV are different in one aspect, but then it's way more liberal on the other side because you're okay with like nudities and language and that kind of stuff. But like socially, we got to be more careful what's on TV.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Oh, 100%.
Meanwhile,
agree.
It's like the sexualization is totally okay.
Yeah.
And let's overbake that, but let's really chill back on the social stuff. Like, that's nuts.
I know.
To see that change.
How about this? So I just had a client come in my office, and they are a teacher at Frontier. And they said that there was I don't know if we talked about this. I don't think we did, but
No.
there was a child that their parents called and complained, and they said that they needed to make a private bathroom for their kid with a kitty litter box in it.
Oh, that's happening here now too, huh? I saw it happen somewhere else. Yeah.
It was here. Well, I don't know if anywhere else, but it happened here, and they fucking did it.
Wow.
They gave that motherfucker, I don't know if it was a boy or a girl, but they gave that fucker a litter box, dude. Which, by the way, is fucking insane if you think about how crazy that is. What would you do, honestly? Your son comes up to you and is like crying and is like, Dad, I just think I'm a furry or a cat, whatever the fuck, you know? What are you talking to that? How are you approaching that conversation?
You smack the shit out of him
Yeah,
first.
thank you.
And then you kind of talk some sense into him.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, man. That's nuts.
You can't let a fucking 14-year-old decide they want to be a fucking cat, dude.
Right.
Like, they can't be, they're not, they don't understand life yet, you know?
No,
like, that's crazy to me.
They can
I'm
pretend.
sorry.
They can pretend all they want. That's good imagination stuff. Like,
Yeah.
that's where we were like,
we used to imagine we were cats, but we didn't take it
just
to
imagine I was Superman, homie.
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem. Is like now we're going, oh,
Maybe
he
they
thinks
are.
he's a superhero, so he's identifying.
Yeah.
No, it's his imagination. Like, let kids. We blurred the line between imagination and existence so much to we're like, well, those kids are pretending to be dogs, so they must really want to be dogs.
Yeah.
Like, no. They're
Timmy's
kids.
been walking around the house for the past 2 weeks barking like a dog. Is he trying to tell us something? It's like, dude, he's just fucking having fun, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a big deal.
But instead we like go all in. We push all in. I'm like, oh, they must be. They're pretending to be this, so they gotta be this. And let's make sure we let them do that.
Poor
Like, come
Timmy's
on, man.
not happy with being a human being, so
Come on.
you know,
That's
it's pretty
insane.
crazy.
No, that's bananas. I would, you gotta smack the piss out of him
I
first.
can't imagine what if my son or daughter, whatever, did that. I don't know how I could react any different than that. You know, I'd be like, you have just lost all privileges of going to school. You've lost privileges for
You're now
anything.
homeschooled.
You're
and,
now doing that. Your life is gonna suck until you figure out being a cat is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You've ever heard in your
You're
life.
now homeschooled, and well, it's easy. You say you want to be a cat, great. You're gonna sleep outside.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. That's
Like,
true.
here's
I'll put your
bed.
fucking your cat food outside, and you can fucking use the kitty litter box out there, and you can go and
Here's
do
your
whatever you
cat
want.
food, and here's your bed, and it's outside. And enjoy. Let me know.
That's exactly what I would do.
That's
actually.
it. You want to go all in, go all. You can't go halvesies.
Yeah, no.
Like, you can't just identify some days. You need to go all in.
See, that's what I'm saying, though. I think that, like, these kids, they do it because they know that people can't fucking say, if they say anything bad to them about it, that they're discriminating against them. And I think kids now, they look for attention. And if they, you know, when we were younger, if a kid couldn't get attention because they were weird or whatever, or nobody was weird. I'm just saying
weird.
if they
No,
were
they were
off
weird.
or whatever
They were
it
weird
was,
kids.
like now those same kids are like, fuck, I'll get negative attention. Watch this. And then they go and they do these crazy ass things. And by doing that, everybody's taking it too serious. And they're like, these kids want to be this or that. I don't know, man. It's scary.
Yeah.
And you know what the worst part is at some point, I don't know what this kid that did this, I don't know what this kid's going to end up doing when he or she gets older. This kid could be a cop.
Right.
And look at the stuff we're teaching this kid. It's like okay to act like this, or it's okay to do this. You have to, like, these kids now are going to eventually be in charge of restaurants and teachers, and think about what they're going to be like as a teacher. They're probably going to be worse than the way they are now, you know? And so it's just going to keep, everything is going to be ran by these group of kids that are fucking whack, man. Like crazy messed up in the head. It's scary.
Yeah, can't wait for that day.
No.
That's going to be a good one. But that's what every generation said about every generation after them.
And
oh my God, these people are going to be in charge.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
and we
they
turned
haven't
out
really,
all right.
But see, they haven't really let our generation be in charge yet. Like, we still have people like Joe Biden who's like 80.
Yeah, you're right.
We haven't had our generation in charge yet. Like, where's our Gen X dude in charge?
Yeah.
Or woman? I don't even care. Like, I just want the Gen X mentality.
Be like.
Yeah. I want that person in charge, for real in charge. Like presidents, governors, whatever. I want that. Give me that person, not the
How
people
old is
that are still old.
DeSantis from Florida? How
I'm
old
not
do you think
sure.
he is he probably 50?
Yeah, probably in the 50s.
So he's close.
He's close. Yeah, he's close. He's
and I like
borderline.
him.
Yeah,
I like him a lot. I think he's.
But there's, I think I want to see like real, because I think that's when things will turn a bit.
Yeah.
They're like back to some sense.
Yeah.
Because everyone skipped, and I saw something the other day where it's like they've politely started to like skip everything is boomers and millennials. They've skipped over like the Gen X people because like we
Yeah.
don't want to deal with those people because they're kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like they kind of know what's up. They've seen it all. And
Wait,
like we
what's-
don't want to talk to them but it's like, hey, this is your biggest generation right now.
Gen X is what age right
It's
now?
like, I think they kind of cut it off at like 79, 80 to like, that's kind of the cutoff.
So we're Gen X or like pretty much?
They've been playing with the time, like between like, yeah, they've been playing with it's 79, it's 80, it's 82. Like they've been playing
and
with that a little bit.
millennials are the like 20-year-olds right now, right?
They're like the 30-year-olds right now.
Oh, 30. Okay,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
the new ones then? I'm sorry.
I don't know what they
are they
call them now.
called? They didn't
I'm not
give
even
them a
sure.
fucking name,
They
huh?
even like changed mine. Like they even changed like the Gen Xers to like some of them were like Zennials. Like it was
I did hear that.
Gen X
I just
and
heard that actually
millennial
for the
mixed
first
together
time.
because you saw all the tech and that kind of thing. So I don't know.
I did
where
just
I'm at.
hear that.
I kind of identify with the Gen X people because that's what I was told coming up.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just kind of politely skip that generation because they don't
Yeah.
want nothing to do with this.
Yeah, you're right. I guess they do say that about, but let's be honest. We, as much as our parents used to give us shit, like we were nowhere near what this
Not as crazy.
young
Not as
generation.
Crazy. They'll be
is.
all right though. They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out because they have to.
You
Because
know,
that's the problem. At
yeah.
some point, you got to figure it out, and you're like, "This is."
But they're
going
gonna definitely have a different mentality than a lot. That's you just gotta hope that when they get older, I mean, they're just I think it's how you're raised, parents, stuff like that. It has a lot to do with who you become. I mean,
Yeah.
not totally, but I think it has a lot to do with. Who
I have
you
my
become,
my kids totally indoctrinated though. Like they know what's up. Like they don't like nothing pink. Two
Yeah.
boys, and they're like, "That's for girls," and I was like, "Hell yeah, it is."
Yeah.
You guys who got it figured
See,
out.
it's people like us that are saving this damn
Exactly.
generation, man.
You're
because,
welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome, dude.
Yeah.
Our kids are going to be the ones out fighting, in the front row. Your kids are going to be over there fucking serving them pancakes.
I saw this great thing the other day, and it said something like, I apologize to my wife for raising kids in this generation, and she said, don't apologize for raising dragon slayers in a time when there's actually dragons.
Yeah.
And I was like, hell yeah, there we go, raising some dragon slayers
Hell yeah.
up in here, because all kinds of nonsense going on. So yeah, no, my kids have got it squared away. This is a girl's toy, this is a boy's toy, this is pink, blue.
Yeah.
They understand.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I got it squared away. So saving the generation one at a time.
You got to do it.
Anyway, all right. Well, I think that's one show.
There's one.
There's one with
out pretty
Heather
good.
on a plane,
Yeah.
and
She's going to be pissed. Watch.
Yeah.
She's been missing the podcast. So.
we'll get her back to
Yeah.
next week when she's
Yep.
back. And anyway, so yeah,
You want me to close it out?
yeah, you should close
All
this
right.
one out.
Thank you guys for another beautiful episode. Actually, this is a good episode.
Was.
Just me and Gord, just chilling. But once again, this podcast is brought to you by heatherpresley.com. And we do have, I think it's an automatic sale, or it's 2023 for, what was it, 60% off? Something like that.
Yep.
So
65% off.
there is a lot of stuff that's going to be out. Summer's coming. We got the babe suits, which is like it's kind of looks like a one-piece bathing suit, but it kind of has the sides that are out, and it's not a bathing suit. It looks like it, but it's not. And it's super comfy. It's made by the same material. With the same material, we've got we got all the sports bras. We have bathing suits coming. I don't know if we told you that.
Nice.
But we just got some bathing suits. Actually, we have them here. And then we have a few other things that are here for summer that you can wear for the summer. So go check it out and go get a sale. And we will see you on the next one.